Today I'm going to show you some new features which we have just released into Aprao. So the first of these is the ability to select the currency of a project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load a sample project into my dashboard like this. So from here I can actually click onto that project and I can see that now we've got this pound sign here that's indicating that the project is in pounds. If I want to, I can now jump in and change that currency from a selection from this drop down list. It's very straightforward. I can choose the currency like this, and then you can see that that change has been reflected down at the bottom here with these appraisals. And I can also set now whether I want to work in square feet or square meters. So if I make that change as such, I can then click into the appraisal and you'll be able to see that we are now working in square meters. So here's the GIA, for example, in square meters, and that will carry on all the way through the app. So everything is now updated to square meters and is in euros on this particular project. Very easy to switch it back like this. And when you're creating new projects, we've also added the same boxes to the new project screen. So when you're creating a new site, you can actually select those from this drop down here, and then that new project will be created with the currency and the area which you are wanting to work in. The next thing I want to show you is some changes we've made to the stamp duty land tax on site acquisition. So I'm going to jump into the site purchase section of Aprao. Here on this site, you can see at the moment that there's a site that's been acquired for, or is going to be acquired for £5.8 million. Our stamp duty, as you already know, is automatically calculated, and we automatically calculate it based upon that existing use class. So this was a residential site previously. We then take into account the legal fees, the agent's fees, which you can easily set and adjust accordingly, and that then has a knock-on effect on the residual value up here. So you can always set your residual value by setting your target return using this feature over here on the right. So our target in this case is 25% return on costs. So what we're saying here is in order to achieve 25% return on costs, the residual site value is £5.811 million. We can always actually apply that into the appraisal as follows. But now what we've added is the ability to apply a surcharge to that stamp duty. So for example, certainly in England, if you are purchasing a property through a company, there's a additional 3% surcharge. Now I can add that in. You can see that's had a knock-on effect on the residual, on the site stamp duty here, which has had a knock-on effect on the residual site value. So we originally are at 5.8 million as a residual site value. We're now at 5.6, which actually has a massive effect. So what I can do is, again, if I want to, I can bring that figure into the appraisal, and we can now see that our return on cost has hit that target of 25%. We've also introduced the effective stamp duty rate. So down here you can see that the 13.48% is the effective blended stamp duty rate on the stamp duty that has been automatically calculated up here. Now the final thing that we have added as well is the ability for you to override that stamp duty and work in either a percentage or the amount in pounds, dollars, euros, whichever your currency that you're working on. So when I flick this switch here, I can work with a stamp duty calculation either by typing in the amount like this, which will give us the amount in pounds, or what we could do is we could type this in and it will give us the effective stamp duty percentage, and still allow us to do the residual site value calculation, which is typed like this. You can also add different stamp duty figures per site acquisition elements. So you might have multiple pieces of land or multiple buildings, and each one of them can have their own stamp duty calculated using the same method.